watching this video. Today I am going to be explaining something to you, something very near and dear to my heart, and that is the color pink. Now, this is a bit of a complicated subject, so I'm going to explain as in depth as possible. Okay? So you sit back and relax. This is going to be a little complicated. So, do you know what a color is? I can explain a color is something we all see with our eyes if you can see. Now, if you can't see, that is also referred to as being blind. But if you can see, then you can see color, and there are several different colors. For example, red, blue, purple, and many more, like yellow or green. Okay, but we're not focusing on any other colors today. We're focusing on pink. So I'm sorry if I got confused you with all those other things, but we are not focusing on any of those other colors today. We are focusing on pink. I'm going to teach you how to make pink. So, color is a spectrum. Think about a rainbow. Have you ever seen a rainbow? Well, when it rains, and rain is the thing that happens when water, droplets of it, several droplets of it, fall from the sky. But they're not actually falling from the sky, they're falling from a cloud, which is made when other water is evaporated, and it's sort of like a whole cycle. Do you understand? Yes. Okay. Well, the water is evaporated into the cloud and then it rains. Okay? Now, this is not all the time, but sometimes after it rains, there's a reflection light in the sky. And do you remember how I was explaining to you what colors are? They're things that we can all see, such as this and this, and even that. You can see all three of these colors, right? They look different to you. Now, if you can see, such as being able to see me, but you can't see colors, or you can't differentiate colors. Differentiate means being able to tell the difference between. So if you aren't able to tell the difference between colors, or you get confused about colors, you might be colorblind. So remember how I said earlier, being blind is what it's called when you can't see? Well, being colorblind is what it's called when you can't see colors. In that case, you might have trouble seeing pink, which is what we're focusing on today, is pink, of course. I don't want to complicate you with all the other stuff, but as we were talking about, if you think of a rainbow, which I'll explain to you what a rainbow is when it rains really hard, which we were talking about. Rain is when the clouds shower water down. It is similar to when you shower in your bathtub at home. Now, if you take a bath, that's not the same thing as taking a shower. Shower is when you get in the bathtub and you turn on the water and it comes from above, sprinkling down. A bath is when you are in a tub full of water and you're washing yourself that way. I would say most people tend to take a shower. So rain is sort of like a shower, but it's outside from nature. And nature is a general word used to describe all of outside. But we're talking about the color pink, of course. Pink is a color that's found in nature. You can find it in certain flowers or animals, especially things like tongues, maybe noses. But a tongue it's a muscle inside of your mouth that's used for speaking, tasting, and eating. So my tongue is right there, and most people do have a tongue. Yeah, you might have a tongue. Yeah, the same way you might have eyes, and eyes are what helps you see, and you see color, like pink. So, as I was talking about the color pink, now there's lots of examples of the color pink that you might be able to see, even here, and there's even pink on you and in your body. But if you were to think about a rainbow, Now, when it rains a lot, rain like a shower, but outside in nature, which we discussed nature already, right? Okay, so when it showers, it outside raining a lot. Sometimes there is a reflection of light. Light is the thing that allows us the ability to see. I mean, your eyes also allow you the ability to see, but your eyes allow you the ability to see. And your eyes are these organs right here. You generally have two of them, as you can see mine. Now, eyes come in an assortment of color, which is interesting because eyes are what allow you to see color. For example, my eyes are brown, but certain people have eyes that are blue or green, or sometimes a mixture of colors. Yeah, mixing colors is a little bit complicated, so I don't know if we need to get into that right now, but we're just talking about pink. Now, pink eyes do not really occur in humans, but there is a disease called pink eye, an illness. Yeah, it causes itching in the eye and redness, but the redness slash pinkness would occur in the whites of your eyes. Now, the white of my eye, you see the part that's brown and then the part that's black in the center. Now, brown is a color that's not found in the rainbow. Did we finish going over rainbows? Let's go back to rainbows. So when it rains, lots and lots and lots, okay? There is sometimes a reflection of light that shows in the sky in an arch. Do you know what an arch is? Do you know what a parabola is? Have you taken geometry? Okay, well, it's sort of like, let me see if I can show you. Sort of like, hold still. I know this is a little complicated. That's an arch. That sort of shape. It sort of looks like a U, but upside down. So a U would not be yourself, but a U would be in the English alphabet, which goes like this. There's 26 letters. Now, letters are what we use to write the words that we speak and communicate with. So in the alphabet, it goes like this: A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, and Z. Okay, so there is a U in there, and a U sort of looks like an arch upside down. That's a U. But you, as in yourself, is spelled Y-O-U. So it is a little bit complicated, but I'm sure you're going to get it in no time, okay? So an arch is an upside down U. So arch, sort of like, do you know what McDonald's is? It's a restaurant. Now, a restaurant is a place that you go to get food. Not like a grocery store. A grocery store is a place that you go to buy food, and then make it yourself at home. But a restaurant is where they prepare full meals, although they're not always meals. Sometimes it's just a snack or whatever, but they prepare the food for you, and it's usually served hot and fresh and ready to eat. So McDonald's is a restaurant, but the logo for that restaurant is a golden arch, or they're called the golden arches, and it's two arches right side by side to make an M, which you remember how we were talking about the alphabet. M is a letter in the alphabet. Does this sound familiar? M-N-N-O. Nope. M-N-O. M-N-O. L-M-N-O. Yes, okay. So those are letters in the alphabet. Now, M is another letter, and it's the first letter of the word McDonald's, which is the name of the restaurant. Now, a name is something that you use to address something. So, for example, the name of the restaurant we are talking about is McDonald's, but the name of this color is pink, but also your name might be Frank, Jessica, Dave, or Angelica. Your name might be any of those things, and it might not. Now, I don't know your name, but a name is what people call you, and you can also have a nickname, which is like a name, because it is something people call you, but it's unofficial. Now, when something is unofficial, it means that it is what it is, but there's also something more important that also is. That's a little bit hard for me to explain, but we don't need to explain that because we're trying to explain pink. So where was I? In the rainbow, which is an arch, like McDonald's and the golden arches. Now, what is gold? Gold is a color. It's sort of a genre, a hue of yellow. Now, hues are very important because hues. So, red. Do you see how similar these colors are? In fact, you can see here, even though I told you that this is pink, you can see how similar it is to red. That's because pink is a hue of red, and actually, you would make pink by mixing red and white. If we were mixing, now I told you colored mixing is a little bit complicated, so I don't know if we need to get into that right now, but that would be how you make pink. But we're getting way ahead of ourselves. We are nowhere near ready to talk about how you make pink because we need to be talking about a rainbow. Now, a rainbow, it's an arch. It can be found in the sky, but it's also a spectrum that we use to think of color. Now, color, do you remember, is that thing that you can see. Now, you might be able to see it if you are blind or colorblind. Now, the difference between blind and colorblind, if you don't remember, is blind, you might not be able to see anything. Now, there also is a spectrum to blindness. Now, you might be considered legally blind, but you might be able to see to an extent. Whereas some people can't see anything, and if you don't have eyes, then you might be completely and totally blind. And not be able to see at all, but some people are considered legally blind when they're just on the spectrum of blindness. Now, spectrums are really important because color comes in a spectrum. Now, what a spectrum is a little bit complicated, but it just means a scale in which you can see or not see, if you are blind, the difference in things. And they change in increments, and it might be a sliding scale where things go all sorts of ways. That's another too complicated topic we don't really need to get into because scales are not important here. Now, not that kind of scale. The scale that you use to weigh yourself is a different scale than I'm talking about. I'm talking about more of the idea of a scale, like from a scale of 1 to 10. Now, if you're ranking something, 10. Oh, okay. Well, 10 is a number. I understand how that's getting confusing. So do you remember those things we talked about, letters? Letters are a great way to communicate, but they're not the only way to communicate because, of course, we have numbers. Now, numbers transcend language a little bit. So, for example, it's a way to count things and keep track of how much of something there is. So this is one singular object. This is the only pen that I'm holding, but now there are 2 pens that I'm holding. So those things that I just said, 1 and 2, those would be numbers. Now it keeps going up, of course. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now, do remember that 10 is not the last number. Numbers can technically go on until infinity. Now, infinity is a little bit of a complicated subject again, but I'll try to explain the best that I can. Okay, so infinity is basically an endless loop of forever. You cannot possibly reach infinity. When something is infinite, which is a adjective adjacent to infinity, an adjective is, okay, do you remember how we were talking about language before? In the English language, now I can't speak for other languages because I don't speak other languages, not really. But an adjective in English is a word that you would use to describe other words. And interestingly enough, an adjective can be a lot of things. But one of the things that an adjective can be is color, such as pink. So I could be using an adjective to describe this pillow, and I could say that it's a pink pillow. So that's an adjective, but it doesn't have to be a color. I could also say it's a fuzzy pillow, or a scruffy pillow, or a soft pillow. Those are all adjectives. Now, pillow is not an adjective, but the word before pillow is an adjective. What's a pillow? Oh, okay. I need to completely start over if I'm going to explain pillow. So, have you ever slept? Sleeping, oh my gosh, sleeping is this thing that you do usually at nighttime, but you could technically do it whenever. Now, sleeping is when you lay down and close your eyes and you become unconscious. Now, when you're conscious, it's like I am right now. I am talking, moving, I am in the moment, and your brain is sort of separated into your conscious and your unconscious, okay? So when you sleep, you lay down and close your eyes. You don't have to lay down, but usually you're going to lay down. You close your eyes and you enter unconscious. So you sort of open up this other side of your brain, and you might dream, you might not dream. Now, what is a dream, you ask? Okay, that is very interesting. Now, a dream is well, when you're unconscious, you can see almost hallucinations. Do you know what a hallucination is? It's when you see something that is not real. So you see a bunch of images and pictures that aren't real while you're asleep, and then you wake up and it's all over, which sounds really scary, but it's not, don't worry. In fact, lots of people like dreams, but there are bad dreams, and those are called nightmares. So a nightmare is a dream that you are not enjoying. Um, Usually because it's frightening, but it also might be frustrating or upsetting in other ways, but oftentimes frightening. So sometimes when you go to sleep, which that makes it sound like you don't want to go to sleep, but you actually do want to go to sleep, because if you don't sleep, then you'll cease to function. And ceasing to function is not ideal. They've done experiments on what happens when you don't sleep, but we shouldn't get into those because it's not very relaxing. Now, what is relaxing? Relaxing is what I want you to do right now while I explain to you what the color pink is. Relaxing is really important, and there's lots of different ways to relax. For example, you could watch some ASMR. Now, what is ASMR? Of course, well, ASMR is an acronym that stands for Atomic Sensory Meridian Response, which means basically nothing. The person who came up with it was just talking out their ass. Do I need to explain what talking out their ass is? Nah, you got that one. Of course. Well, ASMR as a name doesn't really matter, but ASMR as a concept is the concept of different sounds or visuals that trigger you and make you relaxed or give you a tingly sensation on your head, the back of your neck, or really wherever. Oh, and this is ASMR. And this is the color pink. I hope that explains everything. Bye bye.